Nobody knows what you're capable of, and for that reason, I don't think that you should be listening to what anyone has to say about what you're capable of. If I had listened to everyone who has given me an opinion about what I can and can't do, I would have not gone anywhere, let alone achieve the goals I've achieved in the past few years, especially. I always knew that I wanted to pursue art. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I loved drawing and wanted to be an artist. But the only way that I was going to be able to go to art school in college was if I made it more of a commercial endeavor. So I went for graphic design instead of studio art, like painting or something like that. And I made it into the first round of freshmen who got into that specific design program and was in there for about 2 years until the professor pulled me aside one day during class, took me into the hallway, and said, "Lauren, I don't think you should worry about submitting for the next portfolio review, because that would have, gotten me to the next level in that program." And she was basically saying, like, you should quit. And since she was the one who was in charge of this entire program, that it was very clear I wasn't going to go any further than that. I decided to move into the printmaking department, where I originally started with screen printing and then fell in love with lithography and woodcuts, but that's a story for another day. The teachers in that program also had a very rigid expectation of what was palatable. Uh, Maybe I should make a video about how art school destroyed my relationship with art, but this video is about people telling me what to do and being wrong about it. So at the end of my stay in printmaking, 2 years later, I was graduating with an art degree, and the final portfolio review wasn't even about my work. It was about me as a human. It was like a personal attack by one of the teachers who basically told me that I was a terrible person that no one was ever going to want to work with, and lazy, and just like all of these things. But the takeaway was no one's ever going to want to work with you professionally, and you're not going to go anywhere. And it was crazy. Looking back, that could have been something that I probably should have reported, but at the time my self-esteem was so low, I was just like, okay, I whatever, I just need to graduate and get the fuck out of here. But you know, after graduating, I got really into making a business. It started off with an art business, and gradually I got obsessed with online business as a whole. And um, my parents told me when I started talking about these types of ideas of like pursuing having a business and everything, they're like, don't do that. It's not going to work. I guess they had tried to start some sort of accounting business in the 90s and it didn't work out. And so they were just like, business doesn't work. But as much as I have been a rule follower in my life, I've also been completely uninterested in listening to people when they don't have a good reason for me to listen. So I pursued a business anyway. It wasn't smooth and it wasn't fast, but the path was mine. And eventually, I ironically fell into building websites. And so it made me think back to when that graphic design teacher told me that I should leave and that graphic design was not my thing. And then years later, I have a business and part of it is design. The printmaking teacher told me no one was ever going to want to work with me professionally. Years later, I had very happy clients who were very excited to work with me and referred people to me and all of this stuff. And my parents told me that I shouldn't start a business because it was going to fail. And here I was with a successful business. First, it was a freelancing business, and then it turned into an agency and, you know, included selling six-figure websites and, ongoing retainers that I just like honestly never could have imagined before, especially if I had just kept listening to all these people who told me I couldn't do whatever it was that I wanted to do. And so the point of this is nobody knows what you're capable of. And for that reason, I don't think that you should be listening to anyone other than yourself. That includes me also. Like, don't listen to me unless this resonates, obviously. But if you have a dream or a goal, like, fucking go for it. Because no one knows how this is going to play out. And I truly believe that if you feel strongly about something, you will make it work. It might be painful, and there's like a lot of lessons to learn, especially when it comes to like business in general. But in general, nothing is impossible. And the only thing that makes it not happen is if you give up on it. That could be giving up on it because someone told you not to do it and you give up immediately and don't even try. Or if during the process you stop working towards the goal. But I am a walking example of everyone telling me that I was going to fail at all these things I ended up succeeding in. It turns out that I didn't actually like having that business. No matter how happy my clients were, I was fucking miserable because I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to create the whole time. And that's kind of what I'm going back to now and, making these videos and expressing myself fully and all that stuff. But this is your life. Like, you have to listen to what you want, not what other people think is possible for you or what's realistic or whatever. It just, none of that matters. It's like, what do you want? I think it's really that simple. Obviously, there's work involved, lessons to be learned, and all that stuff, like I've already said, but in the grand scheme of things, where you choose to go is up to you. And the only reason why someone would tell you not to pursue that is because if they can't see your vision, which they can't, so it might look silly for them. Maybe they've already failed and they are just like scared for you to fail and what that's going to look like for you, but they don't know. They don't know what's possible. If they gave up, that doesn't mean you have to give up. And maybe they're jealous and they don't want you to be successful. Especially if you're super different from them or do things so differently from them. It is hard to watch someone do something that you were too scared to do or too scared to do in your own way. But that none of that has anything to do with you at all. That's all about them and their situation, and those are lessons that they need to learn for themselves, but that has no impact on what you are capable of and what you can do if you decide that you're going to do whatever it is. So, yeah, I think don't let anyone tell you what you're capable of and just keep going. You got this. I believe in you. Life is meant to live, not to shy away from. So fucking go for it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.